What's up everyone? I am Jamie with Three Little Goats Homestead, and today we are in my kitchen and we are experimenting a little bit. So a few weeks ago I showed you how I make my fire cider. It is a staple in our house during the cold and flu season, and so I wanted to see if I could take that fire cider and freeze dry it and turn it into a ready to go packet for on the go. Because if you're traveling during the holidays, you can't take your fire cider with you because it's liquid, but if we dry it, you can take it with us. So that is what we're doing. So this video actually starts off a few weeks ago. I took the fire cider that I had been fermenting for about 3 to 4 weeks and I threw that in the freeze dryer. I threw it all in whole. So everything that was in that jar, which was the oranges, the onions, the ginger, everything was in there, and I put it all in the freeze dryer. I did find that when I pulled it out and I put it through the food processor to make it into a powder, it was a little bit sticky. So I ended up putting it back into the freeze dryer for a second round after we had ground it up. And it turned out wonderful. And I thought to myself, well, what if I take all of the basic ingredients of fire cider and I freeze dry them? Will that work? Well, I freeze dried some apple cider vinegar, which I already have in here, and I've pulverized it, which is very pungent, but it worked. And then I freeze dried some more oranges, some lemons, some more of our ginger, and all of the ingredients that I love to put in my fire cider, except for the elderberry, because my elderberries were already dried. So we put all of that in the freeze dryer on its own, and so today we're going to combine it all and put them in tea bags to make our own travel fire cider. So let's get started with that. All right, so I've already measured out some freeze-dried apple cider vinegar. If you don't have a freeze dryer, you can buy a lot of these ingredients already dried, and you can just put them all together. But just be aware that freeze-dried apple cider vinegar is very pungent. And then this is the fire cider that I took whole and I freeze-dried. So it's still pretty coarse. Once I have everything combined, I'm actually going to put it in the food processor again to bring everything together nice and evenly, especially since I'm going to be putting turmeric and ginger and more elderberry in here, so I want to make sure those are ground up. So I'm also going to add in some more turmeric root, some more elderberries, if I can get the jar open. And some more ginger root. Now I've got more freeze-dried ginger in one of my bags, so I'm not too worried about adding too much. I'm just trying to use some of the oldest stuff up first. So in this Mylar bag, I have our grated our grated garlic, as well as freeze-dried onions. So I'm just going to give those a rough some freeze-dried lemons, which they smell so good. We're going to get those put in there as well. So I'm going to get all of this into the food processor and blend it all together, and I'll bring you guys right back. So for the most part, it is all nice and mixed up. There's a few larger pieces in there, which is fine. But that is what we are working with. So what I'm going to do with these is I have these sealable tea bags, and I'm going to put a tablespoon of each in each bag, and then I'll use my heat press to close these. So I'm gonna get to work because I got a lot of powder to transfer over. So once I get everything nice and bagged, we're going to hit this in my heat sealer. Make sure the bag is nice and sealed. And I'll continue to do this with all of them until they're ready, and then I'll store them in either a glass jar or a Mylar bag. Alright, so my tea bags are all nice and sealed. So the way that we are going to be using it is we're going to plop the tea bag in. We're going to add in our hot water. So I use about 3/4 of a cup, and I'm going to let that steep. Grab a spoon. We're just going to let this hang out for about 10 minutes, and then I will add in my local honey, and we will be ready to enjoy. So about 10 minutes have passed, so I'm going to actually take my tea bag out. I can grab it, and I'm going to make sure you squeeze all of the goodness out. We're just going to add in our honey, and we are ready to drink. Now you don't have to add honey, and if you don't want to put them in tea bags, you can use it loose and just put it in, oh, what is that thing called? A French press. A French press would work really well as well if you have one of those. All right, so we are ready for cold and flu season, and if you're traveling for the holidays, this might be the perfect thing to take with you or even gift to your friends that are traveling as well. Now we will have some of these listed on our website as well if you're interested in those, and as always I will link down below everything that I used, including the recipe that we used in our last fire cider video, so if you wanted to check that out. And it's actually really good because I tend to use a lot of ginger and things, and that's mostly what you taste is definitely the ginger, with a little bit apple cider vinegar as a finishing note. So it's definitely not as pungent as straight fire cider because it is diluted in water, but it still has all of the really good health benefits to it. So I'm going to continue drinking it this way because I like it better this way. So Jesse has no idea what I've been doing inside with the fire cider, so I figure I'll take some out to him, see what he thinks about it, because he doesn't really like fire cider. He's making a mess. He's working on his brother's wheelchair van. So I know how much you absolutely love fire cider, so I want you to try this. Jeez. It's not hot. It's warm, but it's not hot. Just put it in your mouth.
It's not bad.
It tastes like ginger with a little bit of apple cider and a hint of citrus. Prefer this over just straight up shooting fire cider?
Yeah. I thought I was going to be in for a treat. So, trying to work here.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
So it is Jesse approved, so that is a win in my book. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We put out new videos every week, and I also have a playlist for cold and flu season if you want to check that out, where we go over making fire cider. We do things like homemade vapor rub, so that will be linked as well. And be sure to check out the blog because there's always a bunch of useful information over there. And I'll see ya in the next one. Cheers.